We
Right.
should have built new refineries. It
Absolutely.
is a shame on successive government, beginning with Obasanjo regime in 1999, that they couldn't add to our refinery count. It's such a massive shame. They should be ashamed of themselves. We should have built new refineries. At least the cost of petrol will not be this high. And just because Dangote was going to build refineries, we refuse to build new refineries of our own. We just concentrated on Dangote. And that's a private individual. We made money available to him. We made the forests available to him
Yeah. Yeah. Because of our time.
at an unbelievable rate. Yet our country, we
Yeah.
cannot build refineries of our own. And these leaders should be ashamed of themselves. It's not about simply doing turnaround maintenance. Build new ones. Build new ones for God's sake.
Right.
How can a
Right. That,
country
that's
you
that's the
find
thing.
a single state in the US having more than 27 refineries? One state in the US. Yet in Nigeria we cannot build. We have only four refineries since independence.
Independence.
Just four. We should be ashamed of the kind of
Absolutely.
leaders that we have produced.
Absolutely.
Come on.
We know that they watch our programs, they listen, and we hope that they take heed, with all of the criticisms and, the way you assess the activities of governments, in administering their governance on the poor masses. But we need to change tag, BKO. I know how difficult it is to talk about issues that are affecting Nigerians and how, it's so painful when you analyze these issues and you exude emotions and worry about how Nigerians are reeling from this inactions. But we need to change tack by looking
Yes.
at the latest issues, where from the PEPC, the candidate of the Labour Party, talking about Peter Obi, has accused President Bola Tinubu of attempting to blackmail the Presidential Election Petition Court, sitting in Abuja. His lawyer said he was alarmed when he heard the claim by Mr. Tinubu's counsel, arguing that nullifying the outcome of the presidential election that held on February the 25th would cause anarchy in the country. Talk to us about how you've been following these events at the tribunal.
No lawyer, what is sought, will simply say um, nullifying Tinubu's win will cause anarchy. And that was not what he said. What the lawyer said was that robbing Tinubu of his well-earned victory because he did not score 25% in Abuja could lead to anarchy. That's what he said. He didn't say um, um, declaring that he didn't win or taking the mandate away from him. He said, on account of not scoring 25% in Abuja, if we took that decision, it could lead to anarchy. What is in Abuja? Some of these people shouting themselves hoarse about Abuja. Have they read what JB Daudu said about this whole argument about FCT? Because he simply dismissed it as idiotic. What is in FCT? There is no state in Nigeria that has a special status. And FCT, as a very tiny part of our country, can never have a special status. People merely wanted to exploit the fact that Tinubu did not score 25% in Abuja. You don't need to score 25% in Abuja to be president of Nigeria. You don't even need to score 1% in Abuja to be president of Nigeria. What the law says is that you must score 25% in 24 states and Abuja. And Section 299 of the Constitution already envisages Abuja to be just like one of those states. So why should people be making so much noise about FCT as if the people in the FCT have two or three heads? Of course, they don't have three heads in the FCT, and there's nothing special about the FCT. So what he said was, no, if you deny Tinubu his victory because he failed to score 25% in FCT, it could push people to violence. That was his opinion. He didn't say if you say he didn't win. He said if you gave that as a reason. Because if you look at Obi, if you read Obi's final address as put together by his lawyers, they are not even saying that they won the election. All they are trying to say is, look, disqualify this man. And they focused on even some issues that had already been decided. Look at the matter of so-called double registration by the vice president, Kashim Shettima. It has already been decided by the Supreme Court. They still made so much noise on it in their written address and their final written address. They still continue to refer to it. Some of the issues that they are talking about had already been decided in the matter of Osun. But we can't go deep into some of these things because the case is still before the tribunal. But Obi talked about people trying to blackmail judges, people trying to distract judges, but we know who those people are. It is the people who didn't win the election that are doing all that. And he knows. I also agree that the judges should not be blackmailed at this time. Let them do their work. Let them do their work. They have a very important duty to do. And a lot of us are waiting anxiously to see how the matter will be resolved. Look at what the Obi media team wrote. It's an indisputable fact that the future of this country is tied to the outcome of the judiciary's assignment. Every hand must be on deck to help them pilot the ship of Nigerian state to safety, away from perdition. It is the people who see the truth and continue to trample on the truth who are trying to pilot the ship of the Nigerian state to perdition. This matter will be decided, and I'm happy for one thing. This needless argument about FCT, as if my friends in the FCT have two heads or double genitalia, that matter will be resolved by the courts this time around. People are twisting the framing of the law. But I know that this particular matter will help us to put finality to the baseless and needless argument over FCT. Because when you look at it, it means that FCT has veto power over other Nigerian states. It means that you can actually win 36 states. Even in Orwellian Animal Farm, nobody could have contemplated that. Do they know what they are talking about? Do these people sometimes reason? You can't hang on to that thread. Because at the end of the day, it makes no sense. We're waiting, but those who are distracting the court, you already have Justice Okoro complaining that some people were using the social media to intimidate judges. It's unprecedented. The bad blood that we are seeing over this election is just too much. Maybe it's because an example has not been made out of liars, people sitting down, concocting stories that a judge had decided to resign. because they told him to favor an individual. And they will sit down and write the story in a very believable manner. You can see the kind of talent that some of these people have. If some people get into government, they will steal us blind because their hearts are crooked. How do you sit down to concoct a story that didn't happen? I said that he just decided to leave uh, his job because they told him to favor somebody in the executive. At the end of the day, Supreme Court came out to say it never happened. They also claimed that Nyesom Wike took judges abroad for the purpose of bribing them. Whereas those judges didn't leave Nigeria. They said that Asiwaju and the CJN went abroad. At the time they said the man was abroad, he was attending mosque in Abuja. They also said there was a conversation with Asiwaju recently. Nothing like that happened. These mischievous people are just trying to set our country ablaze, give the impression that the judiciary is so useless. I may not have agreed with the judiciary on some of their judgments, but whether we like it or not, it's still the last hope of the average Nigerian, of the common man. So, because some of us have issues with the way Ahmed Lawan's matter was decided, or the way Hope Uzodinma's matter was decided, doesn't mean we should simply dismiss the judiciary as a bunch of never-do-wells. Of course, they are human. And those human frailties will show from time to time. But at the end of the day, we do not have an option. We have to respect the decision of the judiciary. And the people who went before the judiciary, if the judgment doesn't go go in their favor, they should be ready to abide by it and not issue threats. Just the same way that a man who couldn't win his polling unit was issuing threats the other day that people should not attend, that the CJN should not attend the inauguration. Looking into the camera and saying absolute nonsense. So this has to stop. No one should intimidate the Nigerian judiciary. I agree that they should not be distracted at this time, whether it is Peter Obi saying it or someone else. I agree that they should not be distracted. They should be allowed to do their work. In fact, we are facing much more important issues in our country.